It's 7:15 on August 14th, 2025. In Novorossiysk Bay, a Russian signal ship slides through gray water, antennas bristling, routine patrol. Then the first chime 1, then 3. Unknown tracks bloom near the surface, too small, too many. The bridge snaps to red, boots hammer steel ladders, hatches slam. Outside, the sea is flat, but the air vibrates with a thin insect buzz that keeps multiplying. Radar paints snow. The scope shows ghosts leaping across the bay. A lookout yells, "Low! Bearing 210." A flash streaks just above the waves, then another, skipping like stones. Countermeasure lamps glare to life. Point defense turrets whine toward the sound. The officer of the deck calls, "General quarters, general quarters." The captain's voice is calm but hard. "SEAL stations, brace for impact." From the east, stuttering lights rise behind a trawler silhouette, and the ship's cameras catch a swarm of tiny shapes weaving through glare. The next 90 seconds will decide whether this mission lives or dies. No one knows which dot is real and which is a lure. Novorossiysk Bay is more than a backdrop, it's a logistics choke point. Tankers, grain carriers, and naval auxiliaries move through lanes that keep factories running and kitchen shelves filled far beyond the Black Sea. Parked inside this maze is a Russian SIGINT ship, an ear on the water tasked to hear, tag, and warn. Tonight that ear is under attack. For Kyiv, striking here proves reach. If a covert launch can slip past routine patrols, then prestige assets in safe water are vulnerable. For Moscow, a mission kill on a Vishnya-class auxiliary costs months. Fried consoles, scorched wiring, sensors offline, crews rotated to repair duty. A ship built to listen becomes mute steel at anchor. The math is cruel. The attackers spend low 5 figures on expendables, 2 FPV strike UAS with penetrators, plus a screen of micro UAS carrying LED decoys and beacons to spoof attention. The defenders carry millions in electronics and a finite magazine of countermeasures. One side throws confusion, the other must pay for certainty. This isn't about sinking hulls. It's about erasing a brain so the fleet around it loses the thread. No early warning for convoys, no crisp picture for coastal batteries, no confidence for ship owners calculating risk. Insurance spikes. Routes bend away. Escorts get pulled from other tasks, leaving gaps elsewhere. Allies and watchers take notes. Swarms can reach into the heart of defended bays, and the cost ratio favors the patient and the small. Out on deck, both sides believe time is on their side. The crew trusts their steel and training. The drone team trusts math and speed. If you had to choose, where would you place your bet right now? Comment 1 for the defending crew, or 9 for the attacking swarm. And if you want the full battle as it unfolds, hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. 7:20 local. 5 minutes since the first alarms. The radar scope shows clutter too many returns, some flickering, some solid. The officer calls for confirmation from optical trackers. Sailors swing cameras and binoculars across the bay. Then one shape resolves, a quadcopter diving low, no bigger than a backpack. Another follows. The captain gives the order, "Engage." First, the crew fires electronic jammers, hoping to disrupt signals guiding the swarm. Static floods the airwaves. For a moment, one micro-drone veers, wobbling before splashing into the water. But the others adjust, hopping frequencies. Cheap doesn't mean dumb. Each drone carries preset paths and simple evasions. Next comes hard defense. Deck gunners squeeze triggers, spraying bursts of 14.5 millimeters across the waves. Tracers arc, slamming into foam. One FPV drone breaks apart midair, fragments tumbling into the sea. But more streaks appear, 10, maybe 12, rushing from different bearings. Their lights flicker strangely, some bright, some dim, some pulsing. The electronic warfare officer shouts, "Decoys! They're spoofing signatures!" The captain doesn't waste time. He authorizes the use of short-range missiles, man-portable launchers brought topside for close defense. 2 sailors' shoulder tubes, lock onto fast-moving specks, and fire. The first rocket screams out, detonating near a cluster. 2 drones vanish in the fireball. The second rocket misses. chasing a decoy beacon that isn't real. Coordination tightens. Radio chatter links the ship with coastal defense posts. Cover Sector 315, one voice says. Confirmed. Shifting fire. Every move counts if they overlap fields or leave a gap. Something slips through. Explosions light the horizon. Each flash a gamble of seconds bought. But the swarm keeps pressing. The defenders face a cruel rhythm. Load, fire, track, reload. The drones need only one to break through. As sailors wipe sweat and gun barrels glow, the bridge braces. They blunted the first thrust, but the pattern is clear. Waves are arriving faster, closer, and smarter. The crew realizes this isn't just a probe. It's a deliberate attempt to blind the ship and strip its defenses down to the bone. 7:28. The horizon refuses to clear. More tracks bloom, closer this time. Several drones slip through the outer ring of fire, darting low, hugging the waves. Machine guns hammer, knocking a few into spray, but others keep sliding forward. Each one that survives means the defense is thin. The ship alters course, a few degrees starboard. It's not retreat, it's geometry. By turning, the hull narrows its silhouette, giving the gunners tighter angles. But it also means slower reaction on the opposite flank. The crew feels the pressure. One mistake and a drone slams into antennas, consoles, or the bridge itself. A pair of FPV drones break formation, zigzagging toward the bow. The portside gun crew opens up, tracers stitching the air. One explodes in a flash of fuel and fragments. The other swerves at the last second, skimming the deck before smashing into a railing. Shrapnel peppers the superstructure. Sailors duck, ears ringing. Smoke pours from scorched paint, but the ship keeps fighting. Below, engineers reroute circuits, sealing off compartments as alarms scream about minor fires. Above, the captain orders the use of flares bright, burning decoys meant to draw seekers away. They streak skyward, scattering sparks. A micro-drone chases one flare and disintegrates in the blast, but others ignore the distraction, locked on their programmed runs. The defenders are burning through ammunition. Each burst eats precious rounds. Each missile tube fired is one less in reserve. And the swarm is learning new drones swoop from unexpected bearings, probing angles the crew thought safe. It's a duel of endurance. Flesh, steel, and training versus plastic, batteries, and code. The crew's breathing grows tight. Sweat stings eyes, hands tremble on triggers, but discipline holds. Voices stay clipped. Commands repeat twice for clarity, and the gunners keep scanning for the next shadow skimming the sea. Sensors jitter, the picture flickers, then steadies. The sense is unmistakable. This fight isn't a single clash, it's a grinding contest. If the ship survives this wave, the next will come sharper, faster, and the crew knows the margin is shrinking. If you were under this storm of drones, would you back the guns holding the line or the swarm pressing harder every minute? Comment 1 for the crew, 9 for the swarm, and hit subscribe to stay through the fight. 7:35. Just when the crew thinks the rhythm is steady wave, fire. Reload the swarm shifts. Tiny blips vanish from radar, slipping below the sea's clutter. The EW officer frowns. They're gone. Seconds later, a lookout shouts, "Surface skimmers, port side!" The twist is brutal. A new class of drones surges in, hugging inches above the waves, faster and leaner than the quadcopters. Their bodies glisten, half submerged, leaving barely a ripple. Radar struggles. Sensors blink in and out. These aren't toys, they're sea skimmers, designed to slip past defenses now straining to keep up. Alarms blare again. The captain orders, "Bring Asset 3 online." Sailors scramble, rolling out the heavier point defense system. Barrels elevate, tracking shapes nearly invisible in spray. A thunderous burst rips across the waterline, shredding one drone in a geyser. The others weave tighter, jerking unpredictably, their small profiles hard to hit. On the bridge, voices sharpen. Engineers call, "Power holding, circuit stressed." The Tinno barks arcs, layering coverage without wasting ammunition. Outside, sparks flash as a skimmer detonates under fire, rocking the hull. Another slams into a railing, warhead failing to penetrate but denting steel. Below deck, Sailors brace against bulkheads, feeling each impact shudder through steel. Above, smoke mixes with spray, coating everything in a haze that makes tracking harder. Every man and woman senses the stakes rising. This isn't harassment, it's a kill attempt. One thought grips every sailor. If even one of these gets through, it won't just scorch paint, it could tear into the ship's core, ending the fight in seconds. 7:42. The battle reaches knife range. The last wave of skimmers and FPVs rushes in together. A coordinated push meant to overwhelm what's left of the ship's defenses. The radar picture is chaos. Screens flicker, alarms shriek non-stop. Asset 3 opens fire. The heavy point defense guns thunder, streams of tracers cutting the dark morning sky. A drone erupts in flame, pieces raining into the sea. Another takes a direct hit, vanishing in spray. But two more slip past the curtain. One streaks toward the bridge, the other low at the stern. The crew splits fire. Gunners on portside swing barrels, fingers wide on triggers. The stern drone swerves, trying to hug the wake. A burst of rounds catches it, detonating its charge in a plume that drenches the deck. The shockwave rattles teeth and knocks sailors to the floor, but the ship holds. The bridge drone keeps coming. Seconds stretch like hours. A missile tube is loaded, shoulders snap it into place. Lock-on tones shrill. The captain nods once. Launch. The rocket blasts out, striking the drone just before impact. Fireball. Shards slam against windows, cracking glass but sparing the crew. Below, sailors rush to patch damage. Sparks shower from scorched panels. Hoses blast smoke-filled compartments. Medics drag a wounded gunner clear. Above, the last stragglers are gunned down in short bursts. One final explosion rocks the deck, then silence only the hiss of seawater against steel. Damage control checks roll in. Twisted railings, scorched cabling, two sensor heads dark, one mount almost dry on ammo. The EW rack runs hot, tech swap modules. The captain orders a slow turn to ease strain while spotters sweep for late stragglers. A coastal post crackles. Approach is clear for now. Bridge lights dim, then steady as power reroutes. A torn hoist flaps aft. A punctured raft bumps the hull. The ship lives just... The crew breathes as one, lungs heaving. They know how close it was. One drone more and the outcome changes. Instead, the horizon clears, and the ship scarred, battered, but afloat stands as proof that discipline and firepower can still blunt a swarm. If you were standing here in the smoke, would you give credit to the crew's grit or the swarm's relentless push? Comment 1 for the defenders, 9 for the attackers, and subscribe so you don't miss how this fight reshapes the next battle. 8-5. Smoke drifts across Novorossiysk Bay. The Russian SIGINT vessel still floats, but its antennas are bent, consoles scorched, and decks littered with fragments. Crew patch holes with canvas and weld plates. But the ship is blind. No intercepts, no tracking, no early warning. Once a fleet sensor, it is now a crippled hulk needing months in dry dock. For Russia, the loss is more than steel. A specialized intelligence ship takes years to build and train for. Without it, Coastal Command loses eyes, convoys lose coverage, and defenses react slower. Insurance spikes, shippers reroute, and allies question Moscow's shield. For Ukraine, the raid is proof. A small team with disguised launch vessels and cheap drones forced a multi-million-dollar ship off the board. The message: even in safe waters, no platform is untouchable. Partners see cost-effectiveness, rivals see vulnerability, and global watchers debate whether naval warfare has shifted towards swarms and deception. Strategically, the fight shows imbalance. Expendables versus expensive hulls. Each drone destroyed burned ammo, revealed tactics, and drained crews. Each drone that slipped through delivered damage far beyond its cost. This favors those willing to trade cheap losses for strategic wins. Yet the victory is not absolute. The ship still floats, and Russia will patch steel and replace gear. The question is whether they adapt faster than attackers evolve. If the next strike adds more drones or mixes in coastal missiles, survival may turn to disaster. Result: the ship lives, but the cost is staggering. Impact. Navies everywhere must ask if their prize ships are future-proof or future targets. If you think the defenders held their ground, press 1. If you believe the swarm has already rewritten the rules, press 9. And subscribe so you don't miss how this clash shapes the next round in the Black Sea.